There's a lot of things in life that you have to do, and they're the hard thing to do, but they're the right thing to do. There's no getting around the guilt that you feel, but you should never feel ashamed.
Last year, Mia Santiago, a 22-year-old artist from Texas, found out she was pregnant.
I had only been with my partner for a month, and my period's a little late. After about 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, that's too late. I got a nice pregnancy test, and you could see both stripes there. And my heart just sank.
So in that moment, what options did you think you had?
Immediately, I knew I had to get an abortion because I don't have the resources for a baby. I came across this group through social media. They've helped a lot of people I know even. They talked me through all of my options, and they talked to me about self-managed abortion.
A self-managed abortion is when a person uses medication to do their own abortion without going to a doctor. Santiago did hers at home.
Why did self-managed abortions feel like the best option for you?
You feel so much safer in your own safe space. You don't want to be in this sterile environment going through something so like insanely deep and heavy.
How did the group that you contacted help you through the process of a self-managed abortion? What did they do to help you?
My caseworker contacted me consistently to check on me before I made the decision, before they mailed the medication. Every step of the way, they sent me a care package. You know, they sent me a PowerPoint to read and see everything that was going to happen to me. I talked to her a lot on the day that I was doing it. You know, she helped me calm my nerves. Everything I needed to know, they provided that for me.
Until last year, Texans up to 10 weeks pregnant could get abortion drugs from a clinic. But that was before SB 8, the state's 6-week clinical abortion ban, and before SB 4, which bans providers from prescribing abortion drugs after 7 weeks of pregnancy, and also bans the pills from being mailed. Under these new laws, Santiago wouldn't go to jail for using these pills, but the people who gave them to her could face more than 6 months in jail and up to a $10,000 fine.
What do you think you would have done without this underground network that helped you?
I definitely still would have found a way to have an abortion, but I'm grateful that there was an organization to help me do this thing that should be free to everyone.
Do you know how this organization gets the pill to you?
The span of it goes across the border.
For decades, Mexicans have come to the U.S. for abortions, just as people in the U.S. have gone to Mexico for the procedure itself or medication. But as the U.S. inches closer to becoming a post-Roe nation, pharmacists in Mexico say they're seeing an influx of Americans.
We're in the town of Nuevo Progreso, right, which is a town that's known for its medical tourism. There's at least 200 pharmacies around here. You can see many Americans shopping.
Now, alongside everyday prescriptions, you'll find pharmacies advertising for abortion pills.
Oiga, aquí venden misoprostol para los abortos. Sí. 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 ¿Le podemos seguir? ¿Está bien?
Misoprostol, or miso, is approved by the FDA to be taken with another pill, misoprostol, to end a pregnancy. But miso is far more accessible. In Mexico, only certain states sell misoprostol, and in the US, it can only be obtained through specialty pharmacies. When taken by itself, miso works somewhere between 75 and 90% of the time, which is why so many people take it alone.
Misoprostol, ok. ¿Cuántas tabletas hay aquí?
Mire, este trae 28 tabletas, pero se utiliza nada más 10.
Ok. ¿Y más o menos cuál es el proceso?
Ok, se tiene que tomar una por vía oral y deja pasar 1 hora y empieza por vía vaginal y se toma otra por vía vaginal. Tienen que ser 8 en total.
¿Cuánto cuesta?
Esa vale $60.
Perfecto. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias.
This just cost me $60. If I were to buy this in the United States, it'd be more than $400. I don't need a prescription. One of the interesting things he said is that he wants Americans and he wants people in Texas to know that this is available to them. Hola. Aquí venden misoprostol. Esto es común, o sea, hay personas americanas que vienen aquí a comprar esto.
Así es.
Es común ver a personas que vienen a comprar no uno ni dos, sino como 10, 15, 20, 30 cajas.
Sí, es común para nosotros. Sí, eso sí lo puedes cruzar, no es nada narcotráfico, nada. Lo puedes cruzar.
¿Cuál sería el proceso?
Es 1 por hora. Se tiene que tomar vaginal y sublingual.
O sea, pero hay un número específico de...
No.
So we just went into 2 different pharmacies, and each of them gave us conflicting information about what to do with the abortion pills. That shows you one of the risks of what it means to criminalize abortions in the United States.
Many of these pharmacies are unregulated, and the directions for taking miso aren't always accurate or complete. But making sure people take miso correctly is part of the work of abortion activists in Mexico, who claimed a victory last year when the world's second largest Catholic country decriminalized abortion. Now, some of those same activists are taking their fight up north.
We're about to meet 2 organizers from Necesito Abortar, a group that over the last 5 years has helped Mexicans access abortions, and in this moment, they're specifically helping Texans directly access misoprostol for self-managed abortions. Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy bien.
Bienvenida.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por tenernos.
Adelante. Digamos que una restricción legal nunca fue un obstáculo para poder realizar la labor del acompañamiento. Pues es una red que formamos ya hace 5 años.
El primer mes acompañamos 104 mujeres. En un mes.
¿Cómo se ponen en contacto con ustedes las personas en Estados Unidos y las tejanas?
Algunas veces también nos puede recomendar a alguien, pero generalmente es por medio de las redes, aparecen nuestros teléfonos y ya se contactan vía WhatsApp.
Chicas con las que ustedes han hablado tienen miedo del riesgo legal que ellas tengan en Estados Unidos.
Siempre preguntan los riesgos, ¿no? Si es detectable, ¿no? Porque dicen, bueno, ¿y si me tomo las pastillas y luego tengo que ir con mi ginecólogo, ¿no? O sea, ¿cómo le digo que ya no estoy embarazada? Si se puede detectar, si no se puede detectar. Yo les digo, no hay manera, ni aunque te saquen sangre, ni orina, ni muestra de tejido, ni aunque lo manden a la NASA, no existe manera médica de comprobar el uso de misoprostol.
¿Ustedes lo compraron físicamente aquí?
Sí.
¿Cuánto compraron?
No sé.
Tanto que, o sea, han comprado tanto que ni se puede acordar.
Sí, nosotros
El año
hemos
pasado,
comprado...
Como asociación facturamos 170,000 pesos.
¿Ustedes temen de cualquier tipo de riesgo legal al que se puedan someter?
Aquí nuestras leyes nos protegen mucho, también tenemos esta facilidad, ¿no? Esta protección legal que México nos ofrece. Y pues vamos a conocer cómo nos va con las tejanas y sobre todo eso, ¿no? Sabiéndonos que ni ellas están solas ni nosotras, ¿no? Sino estamos físicamente acompañadas por nuestras hermanas mexicanas, pero también de muchas maneras por otras, ¿no? O sea, yo he tenido la oportunidad de estar en otros países y estar con otras redes de Latinoamérica. Y de verdad, de punta a punta, desde Argentina hasta Estados Unidos, estamos trabajando hombro con hombro dentro de lo que se puede.
Como colectivo, ¿ustedes han mandado miso a Estados Unidos?
Solo con acompañantes, no como paquetería.
¿Cómo lo trabajan?
Bueno, ya una vez que nos escriben, pues ya primero vemos exactamente qué quieren, ¿no? Qué necesitan y qué podemos apoyar y si es posible que nosotras podamos apoyarlas.
Nos escribieron a Twitter unas compañeras que están en Texas, es un grupo, y ellas estaban buscando misoprostol.
Justamente antes del COVID, ellas pasaban a México, compraban el misoprostol, se lo llevaban, pero después del COVID ya tuvieron problemas para pasar, ¿no?
Lo que ellas comentan es que tienen una persona que puede estar en frontera.
A un contacto de confianza de ellas, ¿no? Por paquetería se les mandó Tiene que ser una persona de confianza, sí o sí.
De alguna manera, siempre hay una forma, definitivamente.
Another way Necesito Abortar distributes miso into the U.S. is through local volunteers in border states that cross into Texas. Groups on both sides of the border are forming a transnational network of volunteers that are working around the system.
So this is a bag full of miso. That's a lot.
I mean, someone else I know that I do work with has about this much more at their house.
Activists we spoke to in Texas asked to be totally anonymous and not give their locations for their safety. They help run a state-based all-volunteer team that gets miso to Texans, which is now criminalized under SB4. This group typically goes to Mexico to get the pills or coordinates handoffs at the border.
What's the role of underground networks in this moment?
Right now, it's a lot of people traveling, people raising money to go to Mexico, calling people they know in India and Austria, where abortion pills are manufactured, and stockpile them and distribute it to people safely.
We've been very safe. Our work phone doesn't even have a SIM card. We use safe apps that will encrypt everything for us. We try to stay away of leaving any digital footprint. Every time I call someone, I document it in a paper, and every so often I shred them and get rid of them.
Who's most in need? I mean, who are you distributing this to?
A lot of people who already have kids. That's my most popular demographic is the moms. It's so wide how many people need help. I mean, the youngest person I've had is someone who's in middle school. And then the oldest is someone who's nearing menopause.
What do those conversations look like?
Very, very deep conversations are happening with complete strangers about what their home life looks like, what their relationships look like, what their financial situation is like, what their relationship to their family is. Other people don't want me to know their whole circumstances, and that's okay. If they need someone to be with them while they're going through the process, then I can do that too.
What's the main question people have?
If I need an abortion, am I gonna go to jail?
What do you say?
No. Any way that you need to access an abortion is a legitimate way, but there are legal risks, and I will help you talk about those.
We try to inform everyone methods to follow to be more safe. So if somebody asks you, you don't know where you got them from, if shit hits the fan and you have to go to the hospital, you're having a miscarriage, you don't know what's happening, you just started bleeding.
Who was the last person that you gave an abortion pill to?
An immigrant, she does not speak English, so I can be a translator and explain everything that she needed to go through. And we shipped her the pill. She's doing fine. And her friend now needs help, so I was just on the phone with her friend. Her husband doesn't know she's pregnant, and she's in an abusive relationship. She cannot go out, she cannot have friends over. And the person I previously helped is the sister-in-law, they're friends. She is allowed to go to her apartment, and that's why I'm gonna send it to the sister-in-law, who is then gonna go while the husband's working to help her friend out.
You're helping a lot of people.
We're building like a safety net of abortion pills. So a friend of a friend knows somebody that can give you an abortion pill and you can have an abortion in a safe way.
You could literally be put in jail for the work that you're doing.
I am not necessarily like scared of going to jail. If I go to jail, I guess it happens. But how can you see the people in your community and just be like, yeah, I don't really care what's happening to you or in your life. Especially that woman that is in that abusive relationship, like she doesn't even have a phone. Every time I talk to her on the phone is when her sister-in-law visits, and she is panicking. She hasn't like never seen my face. She doesn't even know my name, and she's just putting all of her faith on a complete stranger. Like imagine having to depend on someone you don't even know.
It's very heavy to me to have hundreds of people know that they can rely on me to get them the healthcare they need, although they don't really know me.
They just dump everything on you. And it's not that I don't want to help them or that I don't want to be a support for them, but I am just a person. I do not have any kind of like therapy background. I am just a random person. And it is hard to keep up with all these emotions that people are constantly putting on you and all this pressure because you have to keep up. Like I cannot just silence my phone for a week and just be like, well, your problem now, because if it were me, I would like for someone to help me.
What is happening is criminal, not the ways that people are figuring out their options. Kind of just as long as pregnancy's been around, people have been self-managing their own abortions. It's time we kind of all get on the same page about it and be very loud and open with it and say like, this is possible, this is safe, this is revolutionary, this is everything.
These laws, they're inhumane. Makes me and a lot of other people who get pregnant scared, really, really scared and anxious.
If that were your situation today, would you do the same thing you did back then?
Absolutely. It's very important that it's not illegal and women are not being shunned and oppressed into not being able to make their own health decisions.